All right, how's everybody today? Doing good? Good, doing well, doing well. Okay, well, a week from Monday is your first exam, so we don't have a whole lot of time left. I'm pretty optimistic that we should be able to finish review 5 by tomorrow. And what I'm thinking is what I'm going to do, I did go ahead and talk to my wife. Remember, I mentioned this at the end of class yesterday. I have worked it out so that I can stay tomorrow after school. So I'm thinking 4:10, 4:15, anybody who is available, I'll stay here for the full 90 minutes and then go ahead and run you through paper 1. And then next week we can go ahead and start talking about it. Now, I don't know if that's going to be able to happen with paper 2. I have another idea for that. Yes, ma'am. Now, I will well, no, I'm not going to be able to talk about it then. What I can do is I can go ahead and have a mark scheme and a copy of it for anybody who is not able to come, because I'd still like you to go ahead and take a look at it. And then as we go through next week, I would say just we can look at any questions you think and go from there. How many people would be able to show up tomorrow after school? Well, I would say we start about 4:10, 4:15. So if we go the full 90 minutes, let you guys take the actual amount of time for that test, 15 questions, you get out of here about 5:45. So that's not horrible, right? No? Okay. So, I mean, even if only one person shows up, I mean, I'm still going to be here. I mean, that's great. I mean, if you have other obligations, I completely understand. Uh, I'm just trying to do whatever I can, to make sure we meet that. My idea for the second paper, what I think I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to do this tomorrow, is exam 2 or paper 2 has 6 problems on it. What I'm going to go ahead and do is choose 2 of the 6, and I'm going to make that your second exam. And we'll go ahead and take the second exam on Monday. We'll do that on Monday. That way, we have the STAR testing, but it still gives us a full week from that Monday to the next where we can talk about not only the questions that were provided for the exam, but also maybe the other 4 if we have time. So I will provide you with the mark scheme. I'll provide you with the actual exam, and we'll go from there. Okay, so that's my idea, because Wednesday wasn't going to work out, and I don't know yet if I can go after school someday next week because my wife's schedule is not out yet. We kind of have to wait until that's put up. So, all right, so questions. Hey, yep, Cindy. How many people are going to be gone Monday? Yes, they'll start testing. Wednesday, yeah. Yeah. We'll have a test Monday. Because by school policy, we have to have 2 exams per grading period. You got to, I mean, there's all these requirements. You got to have minimum 8 grades. No one single grade can count more than 15%. And I think at this point, all we really need left is just the exam. I'm going to go back and double check, but I think all of our grades are good. So last year's released paper 2 exam, I'm going to choose 2 of the 6, and that will be your test on Monday. Okay, and that way we can go ahead and talk about it later in the week. I have one more review that I'm going to go ahead and provide you tomorrow. It's got 8 questions on there. But I'll go ahead and let you guys decide. Do you think it's going to be more important that we spend our time looking at last year's release test, or that we finish up the last review 6, and then go into the questions on the exam? Okay, how many people think review? Okay, how many people think test? Okay, so we'll go ahead and finish up review 6, and then we'll take our time to finish up the paper exams. Haley. Would you like to? Okay, then I'll tell you what I'll do, if not today, then tomorrow, I'll go ahead and post the second exam from last year. I'll post it to the website, and that way you can look through those 6 problems, and you'll know 2 of those ought to be your test. Okay, I'll do that.
Is that for the Monday test?
That's for Monday. Yes, this Monday. This coming Monday. Okay. All right. Yes, Eli.
This is kind of like
I mean, honestly, at that point, all of our obligations will be taken care of. The only thing we may have to do is if there's any additional grades we may need to take for LHS policy, but as far as new materials, notes, lessons, we're done. Once the 14th is over, pretty much we are done with school, or for this class. So we'll just come in here and relax, or whatever. Okay. Yeah, I guess we can watch it, about 45 minutes at a time. Yeah, we could do that. Okay. Just make sure to shut the window. I'm recording, so it doesn't really help. It's not very secret. But yes, we can absolutely do that. Okay, good. Any other questions? Have Batman theme parties? That is awesome. Yes, it is. Okay. Well, all right, let's go ahead and get to it. Review 5. We had just about finished up number 1. We were talking about a geometric sequence. Oh, and did anybody happen to get the answer? I went ahead and plugged into the formula that we talked about yesterday. The common ratio was 3/2. The first value was 24. Okay. Yes, you just wanted to go ahead and write it in a specific way. Because remember, it said write your answer correct to 4 sig figs. So I think I actually have this in here. There we go. Okay. So yeah, it was 159,564, and then dot, you had some digits come after that. So if it wants it to 4 sig figs, what would it actually be? 159,600. Yes. There we go. Okay. So 159,600. How many people had gotten that one right? Okay, good. Okay. All right, let's try number 2. There are 24 students in a class. 14 study biology and 8 study chemistry. 6 don't study either of those subjects. How many students study biology and chemistry? All right, so I know what I did on this problem. What are you guys thinking as far as strategy? Eli? That's exactly what I did. I created a Venn diagram. Okay, so let me get my universe going here. Now, let's see. There are 24 students, so the universe has 24 students. We're talking about chemistry and what was the other one? Okay, biology. Okay, so chemistry and biology. Now, we know for sure 14 total study biology, 8 study chemistry, so there's got to be some overlap. We know that 6 don't study either. So in my universe, outside of those sets, I'm going to go ahead and put a 6 right there. So that means all those who study chemistry and or biology is how many students? 18. So how can I use that to my advantage? If I know that the sum of both circles, the union, is going to be 18 people. That's exactly right. Because think about it, 14 people study biology. So I know that this full circle here, the B, there's got to be 14 people in there. But I know grand total, there's got to be 18 of both circles. So if this circle by itself is 14, then that difference should be the number of students who go ahead and study just chemistry. Okay. And see, now I can go ahead and start to work backwards. How many people study chemistry total? 8. So what should I put here? 4, because there should be 8 total in chemistry. Okay. I know there's 14 people who study biology, so how many just study biology? 10. Okay. Is everybody okay with how I did that? Okay. All right. So how many students study biology and chemistry? The intersection of 4. Now, if a student is chosen at random, find the probability that the student studies chemistry or biology, but not both. Okay, 14 24s. One or the other, but not both. So we're not going to include the intersection. So 14 24ths, that is what? There we go. Perfect. Okay. Questions? Not bad? All right, let's move on. Let me get rid of this diagram here. Okay, we're talking about a triangle now. Triangle ABC. Let me go ahead and draw one here. Actually, I'll go ahead and use this. Okay, kind of make it a little better. All right, so we have triangle ABC. It says that AB is equal to 8 centimeters. Then we have that BC is 9 centimeters. And we have that CA is 10 centimeters. Okay. And it says find angle ABC. So with B being the vertex, I'm looking for that angle right there. Okay, so this goes back to our trig. What are we going to use to figure out that angle? Okay. Now, there we go. It's not law of sines, though. Law of cosines. Hello. Okay. Evelyn and Sydney. Okay. There we go. Okay. Somebody stole what? I like that little ha-ha. Yes, ma'am. You know, that's interesting. I went ahead and used the law of cosines. Actually, well, I don't know if I don't know if we could do that because it's not an isosceles. So I'm going to say because it's not isosceles, probably not. Now, I wonder if you could use geometry to kind of figure that out. That kind of makes me curious now. Let me think about that. Okay. So what was the law of cosines? Now we're trying to find angle B. So I'm going to go ahead and start the equation with side B, this side AC right here. So I am going to go ahead and say B squared equals. Do you guys remember what we did with the other two sides? Okay. We squared the other two sides and then we added those. Minus 2 times the product times the cosine of angle B. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's actually a good question. Let's double check. Here's my formula book. Okay. Let's see if they do provide that. Distance between points from a circle, parallelogram. They do. They do provide both the sine and the cosine rule, yes. Okay. So you do not have to worry about memorizing that. Okay. There should be some extra copies in there, or I believe I put it over there. Okay. All right, well, let's go ahead and plug in everything that we have. We know that side B is 10, so 10 squared is equal to 9 squared plus C squared minus 2 times 9 times 8. Okay, times the cosine of angle B. Okay. And then remember the way we did this in class, it even had a formula, bless you, on your notes, bless you, for how to solve directly for the angle. But I'm just going to go ahead and move everything over. I'm going to subtract these two squared items, and then I'm going to divide by that product coefficient. Okay, so I'm going to end up having cosine of B is equal to 10 squared minus 9 squared minus 8 squared. And you can definitely go ahead and simplify that, 100 minus 81 minus 64 and come up with your negative number over negative 2 times 9 times 8. Okay. Now, once I find the value of that ratio, I do have to do what? There you go. I got to take the inverse. Okay. Because when we talked about it, we said if you evaluate a trig function at an angle measure, you're going to get the side ratios of a triangle. So if I want the angle measure, I've got to evaluate the inverse at a ratio. Okay, so cosine inverse of 10 squared minus 9 squared minus 8 squared over negative 2 times 9 times 8. And that should give me the angle that I'm looking for right here. Okay. So let me come on back over here. Let's document B out of this. Okay, so trig, cosine inverse. Okay. Oh, that's not what I need. Yep, hold on. Okay, so I need 10 squared minus 9 squared minus 8 squared over, I'm going to go ahead and put parentheses, negative 2 times 9 times 8. Okay. All right, so what should I get when I push enter? Okay, there you go. So I'd go ahead and say 71.8, okay, degrees. Unless it says something specific on paper. It does not? Okay. So, say about 71.8, was that what it was? Okay. So about 71.8 degrees. Okay. All right. Now we want to go ahead and find the area of triangle ABC. Now, there was a particular formula that you could use. It involved sine. Remember, if you had a side angle side situation. Do you guys remember what that was? Okay. The area of a side angle side triangle, it was 1/2. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and plug in here. But the two sides you're given, you take half of that product times the sine of the angle provided. Do you guys remember doing that? Sort of? Okay. All right. So to find the area, I'm going to take half. Well, the two sides I have are 8 and 9. 8 times 9 times the sine of that angle B. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in 71.8. Is everybody okay with that? Yes, ma'am. Did I make a mistake? What? For what? Oh, no. I was just, yeah, this right here actually should be sine B. I just plugged, I didn't use the correct variables. I was just providing the formula. Yeah. So the formula actually should be that my substitution is correct. So is for the variables, since we have angle B is what we're using, then it should be AC. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, my formula, I just had different variables. But the actual substitution, that's correct. Hey. Okay, so let's figure out what that is. Let's see here. That is something you don't need. Okay. So let's see. 0.5. Thank you, ma'am. Times 8 times 9 times the sine. And I'm just going to go ahead and use the actual value that I have right there. Whoa! That is not what I meant to do. I'm going to use that one. There you go. Okay. And I'm getting, let's say, 34.2. Okay. I think it's centimeters, correct? So 34.2 square centimeters. There we go. How we doing? Perfect. Okay. Onward and upward. Oh, I sure will. Yep. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so the weights in grams, that's going to be W, of letters leaving an office were measured. The group data are below. So we have class intervals here, in intervals of 30, and then we have our frequency here. So remember, the frequency is the number of items that happen to fall into that particular category. So find an estimate of the mean weight of a letter. Okay, now, we could do this by hand. We could do this on the calculator, or I could show you both. Both? Okay. How would I do this by hand? Do you guys remember? There you go. We got to find the mid value for each of these intervals. Because I know that 24 weights fell into this category. Maybe all those 24 could be 29. Maybe there were one. Maybe they could be spread out. Since we don't know exactly what the data is, if it was a class interval and you're looking for mean, you go ahead and take the midpoint, basically the mid value of that interval. Okay. So now let's say that the middle or the median weight was 15 times 24. Somebody help me out with that. 360. Okay. Then what's the mid value here between 30 and 60? 45. Now 45 times the frequency, 15. 675. And then we have 75. Okay. Times 8. 600. We're taking the median values. When you're given a class interval, you take the middle value when finding the mean. Oh, I'm now taking this, so we're making our best guess that all 24 envelopes have a weight of 15 grams. So we're multiplying 15 times the frequency of the 24, 45 times the 15, and so forth. Okay. 90 and 120. Okay. 105 times 5. Okay. 525, right? And for the last one here, this would be 135 times 2, 270. Okay. So then we'll go ahead and take a grand total of that, which I got to be 2,430. Now I also need a grand total of the frequency. 24 plus 15 plus 8 plus 5 plus 2. 54. Okay. And how am I going to find the mean or the average weight? What do I do? There you go. I'm going to take that grand total and divide it by the number of envelopes that I have. So the 2430 divided by 54, okay, 2430, there we go, divided by 54, we should be getting a mean weight of 45 grams. There we go. And not the values from the weight column. Well, we did. We just basically estimated what the best weight was to use between 0 and 30 grams. Because it's like we said at the very beginning of the problem, we've got 24 envelopes that fall into this category, but their weights could be anywhere from 0 to like 29 grams. So since we don't know the actual data, in this case, the best thing we can do is choose the median value. Okay. Hey, so I would encourage you to go ahead and put those on there just in case. I mean, normally I'm not a stickler for that, and I probably should be, but I would say anything you could do to just cover your bases. So I would say definitely if it's an area problem, units squared. You know, if it's something like this, grams or whatever, kilograms, whatever it happens to be. I would encourage you to go ahead and put those. All right, how we doing? Okay. Next up, find the equation of the tangent to y equals x squared plus 3x at the point 210. All right. Okay, so yes. Oh, that's right. You wanted me to show you how to do that on the calculator. Okay, so. Okay, sorry, I got excited. We're talking math here. Okay. All right, so you're going to have to put it in just like you would, say, you know, a 2-column set of data. So I'm going to go to my home screen. Okay. We're going to put lists and spreadsheets. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and say this first column is X. And then I'm just going to go ahead and say frequency. Okay. And then I remember we had 15, what was it? 45, 75, 105. Whoop. 105 and 135. And then I think it was 24, 15, 8, 2. Okay, there we go. So this is the data that we're working with. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to start us off by going to menu, but where do I go from here? Statistics. Stat calculations. Wait, some people are saying one variable. Why? There you go. It's frequency, so we only have one list. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put in X. What am I talking about? Frequency. Yeah. Wait. Yeah, I'm right. Yeah. Then I got to change frequency to frequency. Yes. Okay. And it should show up in column D. And there we go. There's the mean. The exact same thing we got by hand. And then it gives you a whole bunch of other information too. Nice. Know what I mean? All right. I actually heard a really funny joke yesterday. Let me go ahead and tell you real fast. It was actually my son who told me this joke, and I almost got a tear in my eye. I was like, I'm so proud. He goes, hey, Dad, you know what? I watched a documentary about beavers last night, and it was just, no setup, no nothing. He just says that to me flat out, and I thought it was kind of odd. I was like, really? He goes, yeah, it was the best damn show I'd ever seen. And I was, oh, my God, that's great. I was like, give me a hug, son. Okay. All right. Anyways, moving on. Number 5. Probably should not tell that joke to his mother, but okay. Find the equation of the tangent to y equals x squared plus 3x at the point 210. Okay, so here we are going to have to use the what? Starts with the d. The derivative. Okay, so here I would definitely probably not worry about the difference quotient unless anybody's just really wanting to practice that. What would the derivative to x squared plus 3x be? Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and say y prime, or you could say dy dx. Remember, there's all different kinds of ways of writing that. So that is 2x plus 3. Okay. So now what do I do? First off, how would I find the slope at the point that it wants? Okay, Eli. There you go. I want to know what the slope is at this point, so I'm going to plug in x equals 2. Okay, so if I plug 2 in there, that would be 2 times 2 plus 3, which is 7. Okay, so the slope I need is 7, but then it says go ahead and find the equation. Okay, well, we've got a point, we've got a slope. What's the best way to immediately get an equation? Point slope. Okay, so y minus y1 is equal to m x minus x1, and this was x1, y1. All right, so that would be y minus 10 is equal to the slope, the gradient 7 that we just got, x minus 2. And I'm actually working my way through paper 1 right now, and last year there was a problem on there similar to this where you had to go ahead and write an equation, but they asked for a specific form. So why don't we go ahead and run through a couple of the different forms. Like, let's say I wanted slope-intercept. Y equals mx plus b. So what would I do to make that happen? Okay. So this is going to be y minus 10 is equal to... Oh! Yeah. 14. And then add 10. So it would be y equals 7x minus 4. Okay. So if they asked for slope gradient, gradient intercept, okay, they'll use the word gradient, but slope intercept. Now, they did the one I was working on just a little while ago before you walked in. They did ask for standard form. Now, when you think of standard form, what is it? AX plus BY is equal to C. Now, what they said was, of course, they used lowercase letters, and they used a different one. They said they didn't actually use the name standard. They said put it in this form. AX plus BY plus D is equal to 0, where A, B, and D are integers. Okay, so they're just telling you exactly what form they want you to go ahead and use. All right. So what I would do is just go ahead and move these over to here, or you can move the y over. Actually, it really doesn't matter. Probably easier just to move the y. So 0 is equal to 7x minus y minus 4. That would be their version of standard form. Okay. Now, I will say that the test brought up none of the restrictions. I might still go ahead and apply them just because we know they're correct. What am I talking about when I say the restrictions? No fractions, no decimals. Okay, no common factors besides 1. And then the value of a, the coefficient of x, has got to be positive. Okay. And that's why Thought to go ahead and move that y over there so I wouldn't have to deal with that.
Wait, so can none of the values be decimals or fractions?
I honestly think in the long run it doesn't matter. I would say if it's a specific decimal, that would probably be okay. If it's something like an infinite decimal, you'll probably want to come up with a fractional equivalent, or at least go ahead and round it to 3 sig figs. But I think it should be fine on this. Well, on this case, as long as it's an integer, so that means no decimals. Okay with that?
Wait, so all these rules only apply to A?
No. They apply to A, B, and C, or in this case D, but the only one that we talked about that needs to be positive is A. Yeah, so the others can be positive, negative, does not matter. Okay. How we doing? Okay. All right. Okay. And I never use this terminology, but what does it mean factorize? It's just factor, okay? Just break it apart, okay? Factorize. You like factoring? Oh, you like factorize so much more.
Yeah, it just sounds. Yeah, it makes it sound like so much smarter.
Well, we are smart. Oh, there you go. Okay, well this one should be pretty straightforward because it's a simple trinomial. It just has a 1 in front. Now, I would encourage you, and this is just my personal opinion, if it has anything in front besides a positive 1, I encourage you to use what? What's that little strategy? My father drives the red Mercedes convertible. But again, if you have a method you like, box method, grouping, whatever, please feel free to use it. But what two numbers will multiply to give me a negative 12, but add to give me a positive 4? Okay, so it's got to be x plus 6, x minus 2. See, if it's a simple trinomial like that, you could probably just guess and check it. Really easy. Okay. Now this one, it's already been factored, but how do I solve that? Well, I mean, you could multiply those back together and maybe complete the square or even quadratic formula, but there's a property that we talked about. The zero product property. The fact that it's already factored, I just need to set each one of these equal to 0. So 2x minus 5 is equal to 0. Or x plus 7 is equal to 0. So if I add the 5 divided by 2, 5 halves is a solution. And x equals negative 7 is a solution. Okay. How are we doing? Okay. All right. Okay, so we already got number 6 out of the way. Okay, so now we have a proposition problem. Consider these propositions. P, it is raining. Q, I am not busy. R, I go to the cinema. A, write a simple English sentence equivalent to, okay, not P and Q implies R. All right. Do you guys want to take a few seconds to maybe write out a sentence, and then we'll have some people share what they thought? Okay. So, Mary, you already got it? Okay, we'll start with you in just a moment. Let's give everybody a few seconds. I think I might like to start saying that too. Like instead of, do you want to go to a movie, just let's go to the cinema. That just makes it sound fancy. Yeah. I like that.
I would like to go to the cinema.
I don't think that's British.
You don't think that's British?
I think that's more confusion. Were you asking a question?
What?
Were you?
I don't understand more recollection of what I said. Oh, yeah. Would you like to go to the cinema?
Yeah, you're Mickey Mouse.
Do your Mickey Mouse impression.
Who can do a Mickey Mouse impression?
Haley.
Haley? Oh, I got to hear this.
But she'll never do it.
Oh, I got to hear it. I got to hear it. Oh, we are doing math. Yeah, but
I love math.
math is awesome.
No, not doing it.
Oh, but it'd make it such a nice day if you were to give us the impression.
Sorry, I think they tried to solve it.
I'll do an impression too if you'll do an impression.
Whatever, sure you can do.
I could try an English accent.
Okay. That's not an impression, that's an accent.
You can do an impression.
Just
Just
do
do
an
an impression of an English person.
Okay.
No, I'm not impressed.
You do the Joker and she'll do.
I'm very busy right now.
Oh, come on, I want to hear it.
That's not good.
Okay. Oh,
No more.
that's all right. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, that's all right. It's all right. Okay. I'll go ahead and do my impression anyways, because there's probably going to be an IB person at some point listening to this recording. Oi, that bloke's not woke. Hi, Governor. We're going to factorize this mathematical expression. Hey, that's actually not bad. I'm sorry. Anyways. Okay. Samir, what do you think about your sentence?
If it is not raining and I am not busy, then I'll go to the cinema.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what I put. Okay. Now remember the sideways L here, or you could possibly see that symbol, means to negate this one. Do you guys want me to write it out, or is it okay that we're saying it? Saying, okay. So if it is not raining and I'm not busy, then I will go to the cinema. Because remember, this is the implication, the if-then statements. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So let's write this one in symbols. Okay, and I'll give you again about 30 seconds, to see what you're able to come up with. Okay, now it is an if-then, so you know there's implication in there. If I don't go to the cinema, then either it is raining or I am busy. Bless you. Okay. If I don't go to the cinema, then either it is raining or I am busy. I was just thinking bloke is more Australian, isn't it?
No.
Are you sure? Because in my second impression, I did say governor, so I took that.
What Mickey Mouse does.
Yeah, I wonder.
Okay, so Haley, you're not going to do the impression? Oh, rats. Mouse. No. Okay. Okay, so here's what I came up with. Okay, so not R implies P or, and what was it? I am, is that Q? There we go. That's what I came up with.
Wait. Why not?
Okay, so if I don't, see, they negated the cinema one, so I had to negate that. So if I don't go to the cinema, okay, then either it is raining or I am, see, it says busy, so I had to negate that one as well. Okay, so kind of think of it as like I am not busy. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Yes. See, I was thinking about that because think about what the inclusive says. It's one or the other or both. So think about it. If it's raining, I'm not going to go to the movie. If I'm not busy, then I'm not going to go to the movie. But is it possible to be raining and I'm busy? So both of those could happen, and I would still not go to the movie theater, to the cinema. Okay. But I did think about the exclusive, but the one thing that was catching me on that, the exclusive says one or the other, but not both. So if either of those are legitimate reasons, then if they both happen at the same time, I don't see why the person would go. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. Unless what? Oh. All right. Okay. All right, I got 203. Okay. Why don't we go ahead and stop there, because for the next one, we are going to have to sketch it. Okay. And I can't remember, did I, when I gave you review 5, did I provide you with some grid paper? Okay, then I'll have some when you come in tomorrow. Okay.